Well, good morning everyone. It is currently 7:20 a.m. So let's start the timer right there. Today, I'm doing a little bit of a speed type challenge thing. I just decided last night that I'm gonna come out today and see how long it takes me to catch $100 worth of fish to sell. Doing some commercial halibut fishing today. I got both lines in already. I'll be trolling a bounce ball setup today. I'll show you that later. But first things first, we're gonna start trolling, see if we can get some fish on the board. And honestly, $100 is not a lot when it comes to commercial fishing. I'm sure most commercial fishermen, if they went out, caught $100 worth of fish and came back, that would probably be considered a bad day. But today, that's just what I had in mind. I'm setting the bar at $100, nice and easy. It could be one fish, it could be two fish, or probably it could be three fish, depending on the size that we catch. But yeah, that's the goal. We're starting the clock right now at 7:20, 7:21 now. We're already 1 minute in, and we haven't caught a fish yet. And hopefully, it happens sooner rather than later. Oh, there's something on here. Something small. Oh, maybe something bigger. I don't think it's a halibut. And if it is, I don't think it's a keeper. What do we have here? Oh, it is a halibut, but I don't think it's a keeper. That one was close, but I think this one is small. Alright, fish number one. Oh, super close, but yeah, too close to call. I think he's about 21 and a half, maybe even 22 inches, but we're gonna let this one go. Alright, no skunk. Unfortunately, not gonna count towards our $100 mark, but it's a good start. At least there's some fish around. Well, it's almost 8 o'clock now, so 45 minutes in and no fish to sell so far. One shaker halibut and this rusty old kingfish. Gotta find the fish soon. There's definitely a lot of bait around me, so that's a good sign, but we gotta find the big fish. I don't know if you can see it, but all the anchovies are just kind of boiling around me. Hopefully there's some bigger fish underneath. That looks a little better. That looks a little better. Yeah, that's a halibut. That's got it. Okay, this one feels a little bit heavier. So let's see if it pans out to get us on the board. There's so much bait in this water that the water is actually kind of murky. I think it's low on oxygen. So it's close. I think it's a keeper, but I'm not 100% sure. Wow, look at that. Good run. I'm pretty sure this is a keeper. Looks like maybe 24-inch fish, something like that. Yeah, let's just grab it. Got it. Just like that, we're on the board. Measure them up just to see. I want to say it's probably like 24-ish, something like that. Oh, a little bit bigger. 25 and a half. Not bad. Probably about 5 pounds. Not a bad one at all. Perfect eater size. And I don't know if I mentioned this already, but I typically sell fish for around 10 bucks a pound. So that's about a $50 fish right there. And that means we're halfway to 100. Let's see if we can get one more right around here. Really quickly, I'd like to take a second to thank the sponsor of today's video. The sponsor of today's video is Fishing Clash. When the fishing is slow, turn to Fishing Clash for your mobile fishing adventure. You can fish all over the world and catch a wide variety of different species. Customize your tackle and catch the fish of your dreams. But be careful, too much tension and that big fish might just break your line. And boom, got him. Ooh, I've seen these hogfish. Fishing Clash offers both competitive and collaborative gameplay with clan games, duels, daily challenges, and quests. Form a clan with your friends and challenge other clans from across the globe to see who can catch the biggest fish. By completing quests and daily challenges, you can buy better gear so you can be equipped to target the big ones. It won't replace the feeling of catching your PB in real life, but it's a great way to get your fix in when you can't get out on the water. Fishing Clash is also now the official sponsor of Major League Fishing, and on August 6th, a new Major League Fishing event starts in real life as well as the game. To download the game for yourself, check the link down in the video description, and don't forget to use the promo code DIEHARDFISHING to get a $20 reward, including a unique avatar, for free. Thank you to Fishing Clash for sponsoring this video. And another thing I did right before that fish is slow down the troll. So it definitely could be just by chance that fish happened to bite right when that happened. Not necessarily what changed everything, but it is a little piece of the puzzle. I always tell people fishing is always putting the pieces of the puzzle together, and maybe trolling a little bit slower gave it a little bit of different action, or just the fact that it was going a little slower. You know, I feel like a lot of times these halibut are kind of lazy fish, so they'll just kind of hit what they can, and if it's moving too fast, they just kind of let it go. So we'll keep on with this speed and see if it pays dividends. I'll show you the bounce ball setup. So it's got a 3-way swivel with a really heavy weight on the front there, and that's what allows us to keep bottom contact because these halibut are hanging out on the bottom. And then we have a little dodger. You can use a bigger one, but the bigger you go, the harder it is to keep bottom, the more it'll drag and kind of scope out behind you. Especially for my kayak, we're a little bit limited on how much weight we can use. So I used a little one like that. I don't know if that's a 4 or 5 inch dodger, something like that. And then about a foot, maybe 6 inches to a foot to a little hoochie. And the reason we use such a small leader there is that the dodger, or the flasher, will kind of swing back and forth, and with the smaller leader, it'll swing that this little hoochie back and forth and give it some action. If we're using a longer leader, you know, this thing would be moving back and forth, but this thing wouldn't be moving back at all because it'd be so far back. But anyway, that's the idea. So let's get this back down, try and do this quickly. So we're not going to catch any fish unless our baits are in the water. And a lot of people always ask about my trolling speed. And honestly, I tell people, like, it just depends on the day. Every day is different. Even if it's the same place, same conditions, some days they're biting when it's moving faster, some days they're biting when it's moving slower. But in a place where there's a lot of current, you know, if you're trolling one direction versus the other, like, your trolling speed could be very different. But today we're going somewhere between 1.8 and 2 miles an hour. So for anyone who's asking, there you go. And another question I get is, do you ever have problems hanging the fish over the edge? And personally, I've never had a problem. Everybody's always concerned about sharks, but honestly, I'm more concerned about sea lions coming up and stealing my fish. I've heard more stories of sea lions grabbing your fish rather than sharks. Both definitely could happen, but anyway, I'm a little more worried about sea lions stealing things. And that's why I hang it over the edge to bleed out for, I don't know, a minute or two. And then after that, I throw them right into the cooler behind me. And the cooler behind me has a lot of different benefits. I don't have any data or anything to back this up, but just kind of ease of mind. One, it gets the fish out of the water, so I'm not trailing a broad trail to attract any big great white sharks that I definitely don't want to see when I'm out on the kayak. Two, it gets the fish out of the water, so I don't have to worry about anything stealing it. And number three, it just improves the quality of the meat because I can get it on ice that cools it down a little bit more than the water temperature around me. So that'll keep that meat nice and fresh. Obviously better for the dinner table that way. So yeah, not sponsored, but this kayak bag that I have behind me, totally worth its money. It's a little expensive, but this one bag has lasted me my entire kayak career. I've never had to replace it. As long as you don't lose it in the water, pretty durable, and also, you know, like I said, has a lot of benefits to it. So anyway, I'll leave a link to this down in the description. Oh my gosh. I think we got a halibut this time. Went on a blistering run there at the beginning. And it's coming close. Yep. The reason why it felt so heavy is it's kind of hooked a little funny. I'm not going to gaff him. All right, there we go. Quick measurement here. Oh yeah, easy, 24 inches. Another quality fish, probably a little bit smaller than the first one. Still a really good size though. I want to say this is probably around 4 to 5 pounds. That's probably closer to 5 pounds, maybe even a little bit more. But I think I'm gonna sell it for $40 for 2 reasons. One, well, mainly just one reason. And the one reason is that we're only at $90. So we have no choice. We have to just keep fishing so we can catch one more to get to 100. And for a time update, it's now 9:35, so a little over 2 hours in, just 2 hours and 15 minutes in. We got 2 fish, so honestly, not great numbers, but at least we're getting something. So just looking for one more now. Gosh, another blistering hunt. Hopefully this is the go-home fish. As long as it's a keeper, it'll put us over the $100 mark. And no, it's not a keeper. Is that fish number 4, I think? 2 shakers, 2 keepers now. It's always good to see some shakers. Halibut? Something just jumped back there. Well, unfortunately, this is kind of what I was afraid of. It's now 12:01, so it's been, I don't even know, I don't remember when I last caught the fish, but it's been a while since I caught my last fish. I had one short strike on this rod that looked like a keeper halibut, but other than that, I've been trolling these same areas for pretty much nothing. And what I've noticed sometimes with these halibut is, well, at least this is what I feel like is happening. It's hard to know because I don't have eyes under the water, but I feel like they're still there. They're sitting there, but they're just not hungry. When they're not hungry, those baits can drift or troll right over them, and they won't even bother to come up and swipe at it. So I think that might be what's happening right now, is the bites just kind of shut off. So a little bit tough. But I'm determined, since I stayed out here to catch one more, I can't just give up now, so I gotta stick it out. Well, stuck it out, but unfortunately, it wasn't meant to be. We found the 3rd keeper. It's now 1:30. So how many hours is that? We started at 7:20, so a little bit more than 6 hours, is that right? I really thought I was gonna get that 3rd keeper, but that's just how it goes sometimes. It wasn't meant to be today. So anyway, we'll head in, clean up, get things moving, and sell off these 2 fish that I did get. $90 for the day. So on that note, we're gonna head in, sell off these fish, and do little calculations. So with all that being said, here's my calculations. So number 1, as you saw, I sold the fish for $90. I caught about 10 or 9 pounds worth of halibut, so that goes for $90, which is great. But then if we think about everything that goes into it, you might want to think twice about doing some commercial fishing for anyone out there who's thinking about it. Number 1, we spent 6 hours doing actual fishing. Number 2, we spent about 2 hours driving to and from the fishing location or driving to meet clients who are going to buy the fish. There's that. And then there's 2 hours of gear prep / cleaning. So like transporting the kayak back and forth, cleaning off all my gear, inputting all of the fish sales into the online portal that I have to put in. That totals up 2 hours is a conservative estimate. I'm sure it probably takes a little bit longer than that. But anyways, with all that being said, we put in about 10 hours worth of work to make $90, which if you're just looking at it from strictly a financial perspective, definitely not a good situation. You're making $9 an hour, which is far below the minimum wage. If you're just looking to make money, honestly, any other job is probably going to be better than this. But not only that, we didn't even think about expenses yet. So just to throw in a couple of them: gas, ice, fishing tackle, kayak maintenance. You know, with all of that, your hourly rate's going down even lower than $9. So I know this is kind of a crude estimate, but just a couple reasons why I want to throw in there. One, for anyone who's looking to pursue commercial fishing as a career or wants to do it full time, you really have to think about a lot of different things that go into it. It's definitely possible. I know there's guys out there that do it, and it's way different than this because they're catching a lot more fish. There's probably more expenses involved, but they're probably obviously making a little more money. But it's really tough to do. I give props to those guys who are doing it out there every day. So obviously not a great way to make a living, but luckily my situation's a little different, a little unique. I'm not relying on the sale of my fish to financially sustain myself. There are a couple reasons why I like to do the commercial fishing side of things. I feel like there's a lot of unknown out there. People don't know how it goes or how it works, and I honestly am not a professional, I'm not an expert in the field either, but I like to shed a little bit of information. And also, I like to kind of give you all an opportunity to buy super, super fresh fish. Fresher, I'm just gonna say fresher than any fish you could find in any store out there at a decent price. So anyway, I appreciate all y'all for watching. Thank you for tuning in to another episode, and we'll see you on the next adventure.